Okay, now we are in the last section of part 1, which is the style. And in this section, we will continue our journey with the web development. After creating the structure of the HTML web page, the next thing to do is to do the styling using CSS. Again, our approach will be hands-on, but before that, we need to clarify another set of concepts. First, we define CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. It provides formatting for our web pages. While HTML gives web page its structure, CSS is focused on providing the most flexible, efficient way to manage the website's style and appearance. All internet browsers have a default renderer in place to handle style. Writing your own CSS styles will overwrite the defaults from the browser. Syntax. CSS have very simple syntax similar to C++ or Java. Every CSS style is composed of a selector name, curly braces followed by a set of properties we want to modify followed by colons at the end of each properties, and the value of the properties we want to have. Okay, the value of the properties we want to have. Each statement is terminated by a semicolon. Placement. Okay. CSS can be inserted. Placement is where we insert CSS codes in the HTML document. CSS can be inserted in HTML in 3 ways. It can be inserted inline, okay, within the elements of the opening tag, inside the style element under the HTML head section, or hyperlink inside the head section. The hyperlink can be a link to a link in the internet or a URL for special libraries or frameworks, or it can be a local file, okay, containing CSS codes with .css as an extension. So this is an example of a file, okay. Selectors and properties. A CSS selector is the way in which you may select an element or groups of elements to style appropriately. CSS selectors are crucial to understanding how to change the appearance of your web page. Here are a few sets of selector we can use. First, we have the asterisk selector. We don't use this often. This is kind of dangerous. It selects all the element on the DOM. So if we use asterisk, it selects everything. The element name selector, okay. This is the most common selector and just states the name of the elements we want to style. H1 for a largest header, for example, or P for program. Next, we have the class name. Okay. Note that the class selector has a decoration of dot before the class name to distinguish it from an element selector. Okay. Next is the ID name selector. This kind of selector are decorated with a hash symbol at the start of the ID name. But what are classes and IDs? Class and IDs are user-defined names we assign to elements to distinguish the element from other elements of the same type. The ID name is unique to the element and cannot be assigned to another element. A class name is not unique. It is used to group together elements with certain common properties. We shall discuss more about classes on the actual demo. We also have the pseudo selectors, which styles and elements according to its behavior. Okay, like that. We can reference a selector in relation to another selector inside the DOM by using a combinator selector. The space combinator means that we are styling a child of the element. Okay. The plus, the comma combinator, that's comma there on the left bottom. The comma combinator means we are styling all elements separated by comma. Okay? The plus combinator means we are styling adjacent siblings of an element. The tilde combinator styles the properties of some elements of the sibling. And finally, we have the arrow combinator, which tells the renderer to style a child of the reference element. We also need to discuss a very important concept, which is the CSS box model. The CSS box model is essentially a box that wraps around every HTML element. It consists of margins, borders, padding, and actual content. Okay. In this figure, we illustrate a box model. Okay. The content is the content of the box where the text or images appear. Okay. The padding clears an area around the content and around the content, okay, between the content and the border. The padding is normally transparent. The border is a border that goes around the padding and content. Normally, it's not this thick. We just illustrating it. It's just like the border of your box. And margin is the distance from the border to the outside of the element. Okay. For example, if this is the whole document, the margin is the distance between the border and the top level of the HTML or the bottom level of the HTML. Okay. We shall make all this concept clearer when we get to the demo on the next section. So thank you, and see you again when we get the demo on the next part.